Good evening, everybody. Whew, just want to share a little update. So, what I understand is my mother, um, she works in a school, and three of her students uh, have been confirmed to have the virus. She was last at school on Friday. I last saw my mom on Sunday. My mom said she's feeling okay. My work suggested I should take the day off as a precaution. The last hour or so, I'm starting to feel a little short of breath, but that's kind of normal for me every now and then. So I don't know if I have it or not, but as far as I know, I don't have a fever. But here I am, hunkered down at home, which is fine. I'm willing to bear out the time we're here, and let's try to make the most of this time. We'll learn a little bit. Parshas HaChodesh, Mirz Hashem is this Shabbos. Even if we're not going to shul, Shabbos, we can still learn from a chumash. I actually have a Sefer Torah home, so especially in these special Shabbos, I'll take out the Sefer Torah with no brachas and just learn from the Sefer Torah just to keep practicing learning. Even though I know some people feel you shouldn't do something like that, I'm just letting you know what I do. But if you can't, you open the Chumash, and also you could say Yoitzris, and maybe you go to shul, doesn't usually say Yoitzris. The Art Scroll has in English Yoitzris, beautiful, very inspirational, especially the Yoitzris from Parshas HaChodesh are very beautiful. Anyway, let's learn the shtickle from the Heilige Berditchev Rav, who's Sanagori Yisrael, and the schus of learning the Torah of the Kedushas Levi, of Levi Yitzchak and Soros Hashem Berditchev schus Yigalim Masamein. We should be zoiche to get through this stronger than we came. That's all. We'll we'll go through it a couple of weeks, build up an immunity, Mirz Hashem, and be stronger, and just be careful not to spread it to anybody else. Like that video from Mel Brooks' son. He said he'll be fine, but he could spread it to his father. His father could spread it to Carl Reiner, who blocked me on Twitter, but that's neither here nor there. I still like him, still a fan, and then he could spread it to Dick Van Dyke. That would be a real tragedy, And so we got to be careful, right? So. Anyway, let's learn something. Enough with the jokes. It would be a tragedy, any of them, and anybody's a tragedy. These are people that we care about, even if we don't know them. They've been bringing simcha to people for a long time, and even if they're not, the ones who are Jewish, even if they're not from whatever, the Gemara says that the Badchonim, they're the Bnei Olam Haba, We got to make people happy, and bring joy in people's lives. So, Chodesh Hazeh Lechem, in Exodus chapter 12, verse 2, it says, this month to be for you the first of the months. So, excuse me. So the Kedushas Levi is looking at this word Lechem, unto you, in the plural, second person plural. As we would say down south, like I was a Rav in Virginia, say you all. So this is the you all form, right? So Kedushas Levi, the Heilige Berditchev Rav Schus Leinu, is looking at this word Lechem. HaChodesh is a Lechem, Rosh Chodoshim, that this month is unto you all, to you all, the first of the month, the Yavayah Pasuk. Can explain the verse. We'll look at another verse also in Exodus, actually, Ushmartim is a Shabbos, Vayaka, right? In this week's regular Sedra, right? And you should keep the Sabbath, Ki Kodesh Ulachem, because holy unto you all, right? Unto you, but in the plural. So like we said in the South, we say you all, right? So a klal, general rule. Hashem Yisborach Haiser Tzon Yireyov. The blessed Lord does the will of those who fear Him, those who are mindful and aware of Him. So just like the Jewish people want that God should do good in all the worlds and conduct with all the worlds with His kindness and mercy. Okay, so however we want and the way we pray, Ken Kaviyachol, Hashem Yisborach Misnag Atzmim Kol Olam B'Chesed V'Rachamim. So to speak, it's possible to say such a thing. That's how God conducts Himself. He follows according to our prayers and according to our will. Of those who when we say the Jewish people, we mean the pious people who serve God. It really could be from any religion. I don't think it's particularly parochially Jewish as much as it's a mindset of awareness and devotion to God in a certain universalist way. But in any event, people who show their devotion and care, or care about even people who maybe don't really believe, but they care about being ethical and moral, these will has an effect in the supernal worlds. And so to speak, God in His mercy, that's how He conducts Himself with all the worlds, in His kindness and mercy. V'chesed v'rachamim. So Rebbe Ushmartim is a Shabbos, Ki Kodesh Ulachem. That's what's hinted to when in Exodus 34 it says, and you all should keep the Sabbath because it is holy unto you all. Right? Kaviyachol, so to speak, if it's possible to say such a thing, Shem Yisborach Nikrahu Lachem. God, may He be blessed, the blessed Lord, He's called Lochem. He belongs to you all. He's our God, right? Hashem Elokeinu, Lord is our God. And since He belongs to you all, it's how you all want things to be. That's how God is going to conduct Himself. If we do what He wants, and fear Him and worship Him and serve Him, and conduct ourselves morally and ethically and so forth, so He will reciprocate by doing what we want. So Rebbe is a HaChodesh Ezelochem. He said this is what's hinted to. This month is to you all, right? HaChodesh Nisan Mischadesh Shefa Al Kol Hashona. That when the next week's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is when there comes down the renewal and the novelty of the Shefa, of the divine influence and blessing for the whole year. Really, it's the first month. And when something's brand new, it's very easy to make it the way you want it to be. Chodesh, that means the word month, but Chodesh, which means month, is related to his Chadshus. Chadash means new. His Chadshus Hashefu Lechem. This renewal of the divine influence and blessing that also belongs to you all. Ketzoinchem, according to your will. Kenis Chadash B'chol Olamis. That's how it's renewed in all the world. So that's a tremendous power that we have. This Shabbos Mevorchen Nisan. And again, even if you're davening at home, you can pick up a Chumash and bench Rosh Chodesh, right? Like I said, I have a Sefer Torah home. You can say Rosh Chodesh bench. It's not a bracha of a Torah to say Rosh Chodesh bench. And the koyach that you have, we're davening and so forth, that bring a total renewal. Let's have in mind, right? What is it? Say Chaim Shel Shalom, Chaim Shel Tova, Chaim Shel Bracha, Chaim Shel Parnasa, Chaim Shel Chilutz Atzamas, We're asking for all the good things we need in our lives, and we should have a good life, a happy life, and a wealthy life, and a healthy life. God should listen to our prayers and give this in the schus of this. We could learn 10 minutes in. Let's learn two more short. Short. Alright, another explanation. This month is unto you the first of the months. The general rule, sometimes a king will test his subjects to see if they really love him and serve him in truth. And sometimes the king will not only see if they love him, but if they love his children. So in the month of Tishrei, the 7th month, when we have Rosh Hashanah, Kippur, Sukkot, right? God judges the world. If they love him, they fear him. But in the month of Nisan, starting next week, in the springtime, God judges the world. Do they love the Jewish people, the children of God? Parshas. So therefore, the Pharaoh who did evil to the Israelites, he was smitten by God in this month. So it means that this month is to you. Means for your sake. Rishon hu lechem l'chodesh. It's the first to you for all the months of the year. Kloimar means to say a shefa nishba. That this divine energy that's poured down from God in the month of Nisan, for mishpat hu b'shvil Yisrael, and this judgment for the Israelites, if someone does bad to the Jews, then God will punish them, but will do miracles for the Jews. But the opposite can also be said. Here we have President Trump. He's a real Oiv Yisrael. He loves the Jewish people very much. He's a real Judeophile. He's going to be blessed. He should be Zoiche to see re-election and so forth, and to see the turnaround of the whole world. Bias Gold Tzedek and Meher Rebbeinu. When the second base of Mikdash was built, they had the picture of Shushan Abira in the Beis Hamikdash to show our gratitude to the Persian kings who helped us to rebuild our temple. Maybe in Bayis Shlishi there'll be a picture of the White House. So Meglach. I'm not saying it will be. It's Meglach. It's possible. Anyway. Maybe Trump Tower. I don't know. Revised. Let's do one more short one. Even though this is chaser, it's a few lines, and then it says in parentheses chaser that it's incomplete. We don't have the whole teaching, but if it's printed here, there's something we can get out of even an incomplete teaching. So again, another explanation. Kedushas lechem Rish Chadashim. There's many others. We're just doing the short ones, just because I don't want to waste too much of your time, but I want to spend some time with you, and it's not wasting time. It's a big schus, but I'm saying maybe more people will watch it if it's shorter. Already 15 minutes. People are going to be, that's too long. Maybe I'm not going to watch it. So let's try our best. This month is into you, the first of the new months. Ayin Rashi. Let's see what Rashi says. Moses didn't understand. What do you mean? What does it mean that the new moon? That there's the sighting of the new moon. The Muslims took that from us. When Ramadan is coming, this year Chodesh Iyar is going to be for them Ramadan. Again, so now when they see the moon, crescent moon. We had the same thing. Now we have a set calendar, but in the Altet side, that's how it had to be. The Sanhedrin, they would have to be Mekadosh Levana, say Mekudesh, and they'd have to have two witnesses see that they saw the Moiled Levana. And we announce this is the time, according to astronomical calculations, when is going to be the Moiled, right? Right, we announced when by HaChodesh mentioned, right? So, and the Svarim Kadeshim say it's a big Indian. The Moiled is even a big tikkun to announce the Moiled, to know when the Moiled is going to be. Such a thing. So so it seems we're going to understand Laman is Kasha Moshe Moiled Levana. Why did Moses get confused? It's a pretty simple concept. You start to see. It's quite a sight to see. When that little bit of the moon, starts to appear. That's what it means, the new moon. Not when it's disappeared, but when that little bit comes out, right? It's the Moiled Levana. But why did Moshe Rabbeinu have such a hard time with it? So we know the Medrash says that the moon was jealous of the sun. How can you have two great lights that are the same size? The famous Medrash brought in the Gemara and the Chulin. And so God tells the moon, all right, make yourself smaller. And they said, why? But I said the truth. Why should I be punished? They said, okay, so we'll give you a reward that the Jewish people will count their months by the lunar calendar. And so the moon gets, and obviously it's not the moon and the sun necessarily talking the way we understand. It could be. The Rambam seems to say that they do have their own intelligence and so forth. And we're talking about the Rambam was the rationalist, and yet he believed that the moon and the sun and the planets each have their own personality and intelligence and so forth, and that they're sentient beings the way we are. And other traditions teach similar ideas, and I know people who claim even to have been in communication with such things. Contemporary people who talk about these types of things, not even in our own tradition, but not in the sense of Avodah Zarah. We understand there's only one God, but that these are equals. Let's say there's such a thing. But on the other hand, the way it's generally understood, the way that most Jews are going to read this Medrash, we're going to understand it's a parable for something much deeper and not meant to be taken literally. Elu, we don't know which is true. It doesn't really make it that much of a difference. I don't think so. But so anyway, but it's so why did Moshe Rabbeinu have such a hard time understanding the new moon? Moses wanted that the final redemption should happen in his own days, and so then it would be the restoration of the damage that was done to the moon. Where the moon and the sun were supposed to be equals, and now the moon was made smaller. And when Mashiach comes, the moon will be restored to its earlier glory. If we say this by Kish Levana again, it doesn't necessarily mean literally. It could mean literally. Could not be literally. This is really such a nafkamina. Doesn't make much of a difference. But whatever it is, let's say we'll take a more common sense approach is that it doesn't mean literally that the moon is going to be like the sun, but rather what the moon represents the Klal Yisrael, and the Klal Yisrael will be restored and things like that. And that really all is a parable for something else. But anyway, so that means that again, whether it mean on the parable level, whatever it is, that the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, like it's going to be, Yimir Hashem, like it's going to be, God willing, like it's going to be when the true Redeemer comes. May it be soon in our times. Amen. The British Rav has some kind of he had more to say about this, and we don't have it printed. Maybe somewhere they're going to find a manuscript that has this. You want two more? That's a good ending. That Amen. We have two short ones, so. So verse 27, Exodus 12:27, it says, "And you shall say it is a Passover sacrifice unto the Lord, that when you speak words of Torah and prayer, V'zo Pesach, that's what it means. Pesach means Pesach. Pesach, Passover means the mouth that speaks. Tershir Bechinas Hu. And it says, Zebach Pesach Hu Lashem. That is a Passover or a speaking mouth sacrifice. Who it is, meaning he, in the third person. Something we're talking about somebody else, but Lashem. Even when we're talking certainly in the first person, second person, but even but even the third person is talking about he, something we think is separate from us. It's also for God, but also even within our own lives, what we experience one on one. In that sense, the first person, the second person aspect is also to God. Our own lives and our interactions, our relationships, but also even those that are distant from us in this time of social distancing, everything has to be for God. And what he explains is that it's the level of revelation. Again, we could just repeat the words. Maybe we don't really understand what the Heilige Rebbe is saying here, but we'll do our best, right? Look, and one more. Another explanation. Hu Hashem, and you shall say as a Passover sacrifice unto the Lord. That same verse, Exodus 12:27. Hainu. This means Kirtir Tzula Havi Korban Ata Begolos Amar Shein Lanu Korbanos. This is along the line what we were saying the other day. The Satmar Rebbe said that when we should read the passages of the sacrifices, particularly the Kedushas. Heineke Satmar Rebbe Shlita. So, and we know it's a big Indian. So, what you want to bring a sacrifice now? We don't have sacrifices. It's the same thing. It's when can you imagine how we're going to feel a few weeks or maybe a few months from now when we're able to go back to shul again? We get a little taste of Mashiach. Maybe Mashiach will come. Maybe Mashiach will come now. Before, who knows? I'm saying, let's say if Chas V'Shalom Mashiach doesn't come before this is all over, right? And things are going to go back to normal, and we're going to go back to shul, and go back to yeshiva, go back to cheder, and how sweet, how much we're going to love that Baruch Hu and that Amen Yesh Merab and that Kedusha. That we can't say now, that we're limited from now, and we're going to be restored to that. Ooh, Azoi Zis, Azoi Lichtig, how sweet, how bright, how beautiful. And then we're going to understand what we're missing out with the Korbanos. Because how many of us walk around thinking, we didn't bring a korban tamid today. This evening, we missed the korban tamid. All right, so the Archangel Michael is bringing a korban tamid, or Elionav is bringing a korban tamid, or whatever it is. Different midrashim and Agadata Gemaras saying who's bringing the korbanos, and also we're interacting with that with our words, and that's what we're going to say here. So we don't really have the korbanos. It's enough for Martam. You should say, it's a paschal sacrifice to the Lord. That you should say words of Torah study and prayer with a clear mind. That everything should only be for God alone, and that's what it is. Because you know what? It's the same thing. You know what we're doing right now. We're davening in our houses, and we're not going to shul. We're not impressing anybody else. Nobody has to know. If meaning this is what if you're not putting on tefillin every day, nobody's going to know. It's only between you and God, right? You're a guy who goes to minyan every day. Now you can't go to minyan every day, right? Yeah. It's between you and God. What do you? What do you? What is it? Are you going to still do it? Maybe you have a little bit more kavanah. You're not rushed. You don't have to go to work. We can, whatever it is. You're home with the kids. You just spend time. I understand you're busy with other things, plenty to do, cleaning for Pesach, a lot of things to do at home. So is this. But this is what we have to work on now. So now, even with the inyanim of saying korbanos, which is very important, and so forth. But we have to recognize that whatever we do, v'martem zevach pesach ul Hashem, or v'martem zevach. When you say v'martem, whatever words you say, could be zevach. It could be a sacrifice. It could be an offering. Pesach, your mouth is talking. Hul Hashem, your mouth is talking. It's for God. That's what it's all about. Let's try to strengthen our spirituality and our relationship with God during this very special time that we have. I'll tell you something. I spent a night in jail once, and it was probably one of the most spiritual experiences I ever had. And as much as it was uncomfortable and painful and embarrassing, but it's the same thing. This is, now at this time, don't get depressed, don't get sad, just opposite. The joy that we can experience during this time, because we're out of our comfort zones and we're out of our regular routines. This is a time, it's like a sabbatical, it's like a retreat. We can experience things and develop relationships with God that we can't do under normal circumstances. We should all be zeiche to make the most of this very special season. Like I mentioned before, the yoitzris that we're going to say the Shabbos and Hashem in the Musaf of Parshas HaChodesh. And again, so after you say your regular Shemana, so you just say the yoitzris. You leave out, Baruch Atah Hashem. You can even say Hashem's name in the piyutim and everything. You could say it after the davening. You shouldn't say it in the middle of your Shtill Shemana Esrei. The Chavos Yair discusses that if you're davening by yourself. But you can say it like how the Gra said, after davening, you say, or you can use it to his mirrors during the Suda, or whatever it is. But anyway, the Musaf one, it says, HaChodesh Mekifas Bo Yeshuos. It's a month that's surrounded by salvations. So we're entering into such a time, the time of Yismachu Hashemayim V'Sogel Haaretz. The heavens rejoice and the earth is glad. The name of God is straight through, Yud Kei Vav Kei, meaning every month there's a different permutation of the 4 letters of God's name, because they're 4 letters, but only 2 of them are the same. So it's 3 different letters in 4 positions. So 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 different permutations of the 4 letter name of God, and each of the 12 months corresponds to one of those permutations. The month of Nisan is this just the straight way, Yud Kei Vav Kei. The letters aren't rearranged anywhere. It's just the way it is. Yismachu Hashemayim V'Sogel Haaretz. May the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. That's why we Al Pi Kabbalah, Al Pi Soid, why we say the Birkas. Ideally, if we see such a tree. If not, we can say an ear or whatever. But the Birkas Ilanos, the blessings, the blossom of the fruit trees, we say this bracha on Al Pi Soid that says that he's bringing out these neshamas, the souls that are trapped in the trees, and helping them go to heaven by reciting the bracha. Such a thing, Al Pi Kabbalah. I remember when we were in high school, Rabbi Weinberger would let us once in a while bring in a movie, and then we would discuss it. Even remember we watched The Sixth Sense. The guy when he said, "I see dead people," M. Night Shyamalan, and they the and I remember Rebbe Weinberger said there's such an Indian, the shamas get stuck. Al Pi Kabbalah, the Kisvi Ari, such a thing. So one place is the shamas get stuck is in the trees. But when we make Birkas Ilanos, then we make a tikkun on the trees, and it's much easier to make such a tikkun, like we said in the HaChodesh Nisan, because there's a koyach v'schatshus, there's an energy in this coming month of renewal. It's a season of renewal. It's a springtime. It's a time of renewal, and so this means that all the shefa, the mazel, and everything, there's a tremendous renewal, and so therefore we can beat this whole thing, and the schus of Chodesh Nisan. We don't. It doesn't have to take months and months. We should be prepared just in case, absolutely. But we should have betochen, and whatever Rebbe Shalom wants. If the Rebbe Shalom wants us to go until Shavuos, Vervayis, it could go. If Rebbe Shalom wants it to be done tomorrow, it could be done tomorrow. Vervayis. This is not our business. Our business is just to do what we're supposed to do. Listen to the authorities. Dina Malchus Adina, Pikuach Nefesh Harbezach, aber sich zu halten sie, was man darf tun, and to do the mitzvahs of Ma'aseh Tovim we can do in our own house. Not to worry. Everything's gonna be okay, you know. And whatever is meant to be is meant to be, you know. We have to take our precautions, you know, not to spread. Take care. Take care of our zkenim. Stay away from them. Make sure that they're going to be okay. And the Baruch Shalom Shefa Brachmanis on us that we should make it through this, like I said, stronger than before, with health, with parnasa, with all the things that we're so worried about. It's built in Hashem Levade, you know. Someone said, you know, that they're all of the things that their support system being taken away, you know. So no, that's all. The illusions being taken away. The support system we have, there's no system. There's just one simple God, Pashut, simple, one God. It's not about a system. God made the system in the world. God Himself is the simplest thing there is. The most basic thing there is. He comes before everything, comes after everything. It has no shape, no form, but He loves us and He cares about us, and He creates such a beautiful world for us to enjoy. So many nice things in this world to help us to love Him and to develop relationship with God, and that gift is so incredible. So let's utilize this very special time in the very best way, and make it a time of spirituality and spiritual growth. Yes, you can relax. You're somebody you want to Netflix and chill or whatever. Gesundheit, hate, spend time with your family. But please don't forget about the things of the soul, to learn, to daven, do mitzvahs, Ma'aseh Tovim, give a little tzedakah. You know, if you can, call up people on the phone, ask them how they're doing, make sure they're okay. If they need anything, you could do. The chefs will help. I plan to make a 5-minute video, and I see it's 35 minutes already. So I'm already well over, but I look at chefs or Rachmanis Sofins, and oi. We should be able to help one another, even with the social distancing. We can come closer together, and like I said, we should if it's b'shert mazal habezach. To me, you know, I did the social distancing as much. You know, I haven't been to Minyan since Purim. you know, I'm doing everything what we're supposed to do, and if whatever it is, if we don't, we do our best, and I kind of was like, I don't want to give it to anybody else, chas v'sholom. I kind of want to get it and get it through my system and get it over with and not be in this like limbo. Am I going to get it? I'm not going to get it. Blah, 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 blah. If I got it, I got it, and it's done. And I assume you develop an immunity to such a thing, and you beat it, and you're done. And there's kind of a feeling, ain't simcha kasaras fakus, So again, I don't know if I have it or not. I think you can all hear that but it could be just I'm tired. You hear that I'm a little short of breath, but it's okay. If this is it, let me just hunker down, not spread to anybody else, certainly not go to work where there's a lot of people around. So thank you. Let's try to get together and learn a little bit on YouTube. Maybe I'll try to make shorter videos in the future. Try to get more people involved. But we should. But I appreciate every one of you who watches my videos. Even you leave a little comment. I know some of you just leave a thank you, leave a little comment here or there. I really appreciate it. I want to apologize for the video. Satmar Rebbe's Torahs. I'm having a problem with that app that records from the screen, and I couldn't. I recorded the whole thing. And then it got lost, and I tried uploading, wouldn't upload, and I have another app that fixes it, but then it fixed it, but it left off the end. Maybe I'll try to make time to do it again. We'll see. But the basic idea was there already. Two things: say Tehillim, say the Psalms, and say the Pitim Kedushas, the liturgy about the incense offering, and that's chus would be. That's the suggestion that the current Satmar Rebbe from Kedushas has, and it's good advice. And like I said, my Rebbe, Kalav Rebbe Shlita, he said, if they have emunah and simcha, and that's chus. So all these things, emunah, faith, simcha, joy, those are the internal aspects and the expressions of them, practically, how to gain that joy and that faith, the Psalms, and the particular Kedushas. In this chus, we should be zeicha. And I please ask the people making chasanas and things, I would say even the minyan is not necessary. You could have just two Adam. As long as you have a Rav who's Masader, even if he's not there, explains how, make sure to have a Rav look over the Kesuba. You don't have to have the Rav Mamish be there to Chasna either, You can have the Chos himself could say the brachas. The Minigas we don't. But I'm saying, these are trying times, these are trying measures. And even to leave out Sheva brachas, because Sheva brachas are not there tzad. But you want to have a chuppah and kedushin, you can have two Adam. Genig. I myself have been Messiah kedushin a bunch of times with just two Adam. And so you say the brachas of the Siddur Kedushin, and then you read the Ksubah, and then you say, and then you say the brachas of Siddur Kedushin, the Chosin is Mekadesh, he says, I heard Mekadeshesly. You read the Ksubah, just have some kind of an interlude, and then you fill up the cup again, and you say the bracha pre-gof, and then bracha achrita, and that's it. The other 5 brachas you need a minyan for, but it's shaykh. Now another thing I would suggest, if you are going to have a minyan and so forth, and say all the shavrachs, everything, you should really just, even though I personally always like to be mechabed as many people to say shavrachs when I'm Messiah Kedushin, as normal chasna with a minyan and everything, but like But at a time like this, instead of handing things one to another person, everything, even with the hand washing and everything, it's a smart thing to do. It's just one person says all the brachas, and really, like I said, you could have two Eidim. The Chos himself could say it, or one of the Eidim, or whatever it is. You can have. I've been many times. I was both a Masar Kedushin and the Eid. This is not a problem. Um, so. Thing is I don't know how wise it is to have the same Rav go from one couple to the next and the next. Maybe it might be smarter to figure out, just have maybe online a Rav who, you'll show him a picture of the ksuba, make sure everything's being done right. He's going to tell you what you got to do, and you can do it yourself. You don't maybe necessarily need to, in a later time, you can figure out, the Shavrach is, there's opinion could be said even within a year, or the other thing you can do is you go, when everything goes back to normal, you go to someone else's chasna and you ask them, have me in mind too, because I didn't have this Shavrach. It's probably the best way. You go to somebody, a Shavrach is the Suda, have our chasna in mind too, because we didn't have the whole Shavrach, because that was our situation. We got married like this, COVID-19. So grace COVID, so when Shalom's will help, and we should have Oishav of COVID, not COVID-19, but we should show COVID to saying Shemon Esrei. Shemon Esrei has 19 brachas, someone said, right? Even though Shemon Esrei means 18, it's 19 brachas, and we should show COVID to Shemon Esrei, to the brachas we're saying. And that will rescue us from this. All right, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and let's try to be happy and have a munah and be ehrlich Yid.
No one would watch this.
No. So what kind of videos is someone going to watch? Why don't you make a video that someone's going to watch? You want me to help you pour that?
People don't watch Jewish videos.
A lot of people watch Jewish videos. Good.
Well, I don't.
What do you mean nowadays? But in the old days they did. I mean, 15 years ago we didn't have YouTube.
What do you mean?
Everything was on VHS.